Hi, my name is Christopher Penn, and as part of Email Marketing Month here on GoDaddy's Garage, today we're going to talk about how to grow your email list with Twitter cards. Now, there are dozens and dozens of ways to develop an email list to grow it. The Twitter card is one of my favorite types because it's so easy and intuitive. It takes the barriers out of subscription for building subscribers to your new newsletter list. A Twitter card is part of the Twitter interface, and it's really easy for people to use. I'm going to show you an example of a card. This is what an example looks like. Get my best tips in weekly email. When someone clicks or taps on subscribe now for free, Twitter automatically sends the email that they have on their Twitter account to my card, which means that the user doesn't have to type anything. If they're on a mobile device, they certainly don't have to try and use their thumbs to subscribe. It's a terrific way for you to grow subscribers by taking the work out of subscribing to your newsletter. So let's look at how to set up a Twitter card. You're going to need a couple things to begin with. You're going to need some artwork, 800 by 200. You're going to need a landing page where you can send people to find out more information. You will need a privacy page of some kind where people can go to learn more about your privacy policy. And you'll probably want to use Bitly, the Bitly link shortener, as well as the Google Analytics URL Builder. So Google Analytics URL Builder, which you can just Google for. So these are the tools that you're going to need to get started. You may want to have a text editor handy too to be able to copy and paste stuff easily. Let's get started by building a new card. I'm going to create a card. The card type is called lead generation. And you'll find this at ads.twitter.com in your Twitter ads account. Note that you don't have to pay any money for this, no money whatsoever. All you have to do is be able to sign into an ads account. It may ask you, if you have never set one up, to set up a mobile phone number and a few other basic account things. But once you've got that set up, no money is needed. Let's create a new lead generation card. I'm going to call this a short description, subscribe free to the newsletter. We're going to use a card image of some kind. Now, if you don't have an image that is already preset for social media, it's relatively easy to make one. You can use tools like Adobe Photoshop, or you can use free tools like Buffers Pablo or Canva to make an 800 by 200 image. That's the dimensions of a Twitter card. The graphic. I like to use the logo that is in my newsletter as sort of the header. So let's go ahead and find that. This is the original graphic. It's almost timely. You'll note that it's not 800 by 200, so we're going to need to open that up in Photoshop in order to make it the right size. Image size, and we'll just make it a little bit bigger. We can save that. And now we can go back to Twitter and put that graphic there. Hit save. So we've got our image. We now need a call to action. Subscribe for free. It's a good call to action. You can see it changes right over on the right-hand side of the screen. My privacy policy is my disclosures page, so I will go ahead and put that in here. This is required. And a card details, a fallback URL, someplace where the card can go if and when something happens, if the newsletter doesn't subscribe correctly. So we'll paste in the web page with the landing page where my newsletter subscription goes. So that's our fallback. The destination URL, where do we want to send people after they've submitted their card? In this case, I think I might want to send them to the homepage of my website. And I can put a little note here saying, thank you for subscribing to Almost Timely. And we'll name this Almost Timely Newsletter Card. Now, one thing you may note is that these URLs are sort of in the open, which means that if someone were to click through, we wouldn't necessarily get attribution from our Twitter card itself. So one thing you may want to do is you may want to use Google's URL builder to provide the attribution for more precision in your tracking. So I'm going to take my newsletter page here. I'm going to paste that in here. And I'm going to say this is from Twitter. This is a Twitter card. And I'll call this the Almost Timely card. This now, if someone were to click on the Twitter card and go visit my newsletter page, this would now provide more detailed tracking inside of Google Analytics. Now, some ad systems and some social media systems have a tendency to eat these URLs. So what I like to do is I like to put this inside of Bitly. Almost Timely Twitter card. Subscribe. This ensures that no matter what happens to the URL, it always has my tracking attached to it. So I'm going to go ahead and replace that here. And there's my fallback. That's if somebody clicks on the card instead of the subscribe for free, they click on the image or go somewhere else. I'll have good tracking. That step isn't absolutely necessary, but it sure does help if you want pristine data. We'll hit Create Card. And this is what my card looks like. Share your name and address. And I can immediately compose a tweet from this card. I can say, are you subscribed to my free weekly newsletter? Click or tap here. Standard. And I will just tweet it out. And there you'll see in my timeline my Twitter card. I could subscribe for free. You'll see that lovely thing, and that will take them to the newsletter page. And people can, of course, reply to this as well. Now, what do you do with this? Is that the end of it? Well, it turns out that it's a little more complicated than that. If you want to get an integration into your CRM, you would have to do a lot more work, a lot more hammering on that card. So what you would do instead for ease is to just click the Download Leads button, and that will get the data file. And you can see here, there's my subscription, and you can then manually upload this. If you don't want to have a developer put a tie between Twitter's system and your CRM, whatever it may be, this is the easiest way to get data in and out of Twitter very, very quickly, is just click the download button. So one of the things you could do is have, say, a staff member just check in once a week and download it. So this is a great, simple, easy way to use Twitter to capture email addresses. Obviously, your value proposition has to be strong. You have to do all the other work of making a great social media profile so that people will want to interact with you. They will want to subscribe. If you just publish a card like this with no context and people have not talked to you or interacted with you, of course, you're going to have a difficult time getting subscriptions. But if you are doing the work to make a great social media presence anyway, this is an easy and completely free way to add things on. Now, of course, if you wanted to, you could then take out ads on these cards. And that would be the next logical step, and that's what Twitter's hoping you'll do. There is merit to doing that. Just keep an eye on what you're paying per email address acquired this way versus other channels like pay-per-click advertising and other types of social media advertising. But that's the long and short of building your email list with Twitter cards as part of Email Marketing Month here on GoDaddy's Garage. I hope you found it educational, and I look forward to talking to you soon.